Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to welcome you to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. I want to say welcome to all Jamaicans. This is Monday the 25th of August. I want to welcome everyone. Say, happy, blessed Monday to you all Jamaicans, wherever you are, at home or in the diaspora, in whichever country you are. Far East, Near East, anywhere you are, welcome to all and blessed love to all Jamaicans, wherever you are. We can big up all the people them all over the place. And as one of my favorite singers, Sir Peter Touch, always says, no matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, we all must remember this. We're all Africans. It doesn't matter the skin tone. You understand? We're all Africans, wherever we come from. Blessed love, Jamaican. I want to just use this opportunity to jump right into the political fray. And just to make common sense of some of the things that is happening, that has been happening on the campaign trail and during the campaign, and to speak to voters from a perspective of how your vote should be value-added, should be a value-added vote to the JLP, PMP, and to the country on a whole. You understand? I mean, there should be value to your vote because your vote is an investment. Now, I want to jump right back. I want to jump right into Prime Minister's speech first of all. That was because that is fresh on the minds of people and it's running YouTube platform and social media platform. Like, wow. Sunday night, that big mass rally in Montego Bay, Mr. Prime Minister. I'd say if I was your professor in class grading you, so I'd give you a B plus for that, not an A grade. I gave you an A for something before, but I'd give you a B plus now. Because you had some good points, especially as it relates to housing, as it relates to what I would call water, utility provision, the utility infrastructure development of the country. You made some absolutely great points about that water thing. And listen, I was heartened to hear you speak about the water distribution across the island in this kind of way and the plans the government has to help people. But when you touch on employment, that's a question you got wrong, sir. You didn't answer employment. Or, well, you didn't answer employment. You answered unemployment. And the question should be, and your answer should be about employment. And I say this, Mr. Prime Minister, because when you mention that 3% of the nation, unemployment is down to 3%. I'd like you to explain to people further 3% of what? Because when people hear this, that unemployment is down by 3%, a lot of people jump and all sort of thing go off in the congregation. But 3% of what, sir? As you mentioned in your speech, when you took over the government in 2015, 2016, thereabout, unemployment under the PMP was 15%. And I'd ask the question, 15% of what? But you got it down to 3%. Well, I remember Ms. Favell Williams, the minister, in her budget debate speech earlier this year, when she stated that there's a lot of jobs out there, a lot of vacancy, unfulfilled. And there's not enough people to fill this job. But you came not to quantify that explanation, but to qualify that explanation in a later speech you made. And you also did it, attempted to do it last night at a rally in Montego Bay. And in the interest of time, you made mention of the amount of jobs. There's a lot of jobs there, but what is absent is the qualified people to fill those jobs. What I would ask Dan Anderson to do is just do a poll across Jamaica right now to find out how many students has graduated from UWI and how many from UTech that is in the country and also from NCU, Northern Caribbean University in Mandeville. These three institutions, how many students have graduated from them, living in Jamaica, can't find a job? How many? Because I find it difficult, Mr. Prime Minister, to believe that there are still people in Jamaica. These positions exist, but not. We don't have qualified people in Jamaica to take up these positions. So now the JLP is actually paying to training people and paying them for that training to get qualified to assume those jobs. Well, I can only imagine that those jobs must be IT, scientific, maybe mathematics. You need special mathematicians as actuaries or actuaries, whatever it is the term is. Or we need special tech people, engineers and special skills, some special skills and some special knowledge-based people to fill those positions. Why they're still there unaccounted for. Now, but let me just take a peek into the 3% that you said is not working. 3% unemployment rate is down to 3% of the country. And this is something I question with all government all over the world. 3% of what? 4% of what? 5% of what? 2% of what? Because how governments arrive at that figure, sir, is fully not explainable. How government arrive at that figure to have an employment down at 3% or whatever percentage they say it is shady at best. It's a moving target, Mr. Awareness. And your Institute of Statistics should be able to tell you, and they should tell you, and you know for a matter of fact, because you're an educated man, that kind of statistics, to nail that figure, it's difficult to nail it down to the 3% you're talking about, because that's a moving target. And here's why it is a moving target, sir. You can tell how many people are employed in the private sector. You can tell how many people are employed in the public sector. You can also tell how many people, you can also have an estimate of how many people are self-employed. From those who are paying their own NIS contribution, and for those who are paying user fee to use market facilities provided by government. You can tell from those numbers when they come together. You can tell. But you can't tell how many people are not seeking unemployment. You cannot tell how many people are dropping out of the system every quarter and refuses to seek further employment. So that number is a moving figure, sir. It is a moving figure. And that I find, sir, I must say, that and the housing thing you mentioned. Housing was great to the point until you went offline, off track to say the government aims to give every person who have property but don't have title for it, especially those who inherited property and don't have title for it, government is willing to help them. They don't have to come to you. You'll go to them to help them to get their title for that property. Government will come to you to help you get title for that property. But it's not as easy as you suggested, Mr. Prime Minister. And this is one of the things I said. Politicians must be honest when speaking to people and expecting people to accept what you're saying as reality. Because here's the thing, sir. If someone dies, leave a property without making a will and has no title for that property, just a diagram or whatever survey documents they have, and that person dies, leaves 3 or 4 siblings, who who all have legal rights to that property now. Those three siblings have legal rights to that property. Answer the question, Mr. Prime Minister. Who will the government make out that title to? Which one of the three? How can you decide who to give the title to? One lives on it, but the other two doesn't live there. Are you saying you're going to give the title, issue the title in the name of the person who lives there, while the other two siblings who live somewhere else is left out of it? And they have a legal right to the property? Well, I question it, Mr. Prime Minister, because that's what you say, but I figure you're supposed to be smarter than that. Your lands department supposed to be smarter than that. The titles office people supposed to be smarter than that. And they're supposed to know exactly all the I's and dots, all the I's to dot and the T's to cross in order for that to be made possible. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying this to put the JLP down. I'm just saying that we need to understand, because remember what I'm talking about here. I'm trying to get people to understand, to open your mind and start to think and recognize the fact that when you cast your vote, it should bring value to you. It should be seen as added value to your existence. It should be seen as a return on your investment. Your vote is an investment. And you don't invest not to make profit. We all invest to make gains on our investment. And for us who don't know the ROI is your return on investment. Just to make it simple and for all who doesn't know. As I've said before, I have no dog in this fight, neither JLP nor PMP, because I still don't believe and I'm not convinced that they are better. Anyone is better than the other. Because if you really look at the campaign and listen to the campaign rhetorics carefully, break it down for yourself and get someone to sit with you and talk through it, you will realize that both parties are campaigning on the same platform, the same foundation. They're just going about it in different ways, but they are saying the same thing. They're promising the same thing, but just going about it a different way. So what the PMP is here and the PMP is saying, the JLP is here and the JLP is saying the same thing. So what they're trying to do here is to capture those that are sitting on the borderline. It's to capture those that have nothing to do or is walking away and turning their backs on politics. And I listened to Cliff Hughes read out a statistic about the people who are, not those who are voting, people who are not voting, people who undecided, and people who are somewhere in the middle there. And when you look at that figure, it's about 50% of the population, voter population we're talking about. And if the other 50 is left, just to decide who will be the next government. I also want to jump at something on the PMP, and because people, our vote has to be an investment now. We need to make sure that we are getting returns for ourselves, our community, our constituency, and for the country. We have to see it, tangible result. What the country is benefiting from. We don't want to see Portland benefit from this or St. Thomas benefit from something. The country must be benefiting. You understand? The country must be. Yes, you'll do specific things for Portland, St. Thomas, and different places and all of that. But it's high time the country can stand up and say, yes, we all have benefited from something from government. So I'm going to just jump on the PMP for a little bit, because the PMP now, they have a thing about this scholarship thing. And I'd like to say this to Mark Golden. I am not really convinced, sir. I'm just one person, maybe the lone voice out in the wilderness who has said this, but really I'm not convinced that the PNP is even ready, as I said, to be a vibrant, viable party in leadership. Because you have not even shown your viability and your vibrancy as in opposition. And I want to take you back, Mr. Golden, because you remember too. But let me just refresh your memory, sir. Michael Manley was the first person who brought free education to offer free education in Jamaica. And of course, a lot of people jump on the bandwagon. Some people went to teachers' college, some people went to university in Russia, some people got free education all over the place and all of that. But that was just to bring in, that was just to garner votes. That was really a wool over people's eye. Because Michael Manley and the entire government back then knew very well that that was not a sustainable thing. Because the economy, the type of economy Jamaica has, we cannot offer free education based on the type of economy we have right now. Back then and now. So with the suggestion, sir, that one child from every household will give a free scholarship to higher institute of learning. Mr. Golden come better than, you have to come with better idea than these things you have for the people of the country. Whether you or the JLP want to jump on that kind of bandwagon, sir. The PNP has to come better when it comes to education. And the JLP itself has to come better when it comes to education. I want to use this opportunity though, Mr. Golden, to ask one question with PNP. Because I noticed you guys are campaigning, but you said nothing again about the buses. I'd like to hear what the PNP plan to do with the buses should they become the government of Jamaica on the 4th of September. I'd love to hear what you guys plan to do with those school buses. And I'm quite sure also, Mr. Golden, that the PNP, the budget for next year, which is April, we are in September. 8 months away. I know your budget is already in preparation. Okay, you have to hit the road running and coming. If you become the next government, or the PNP, as I should say, become the next government, you guys have no what we call honeymoon period. You have to hit the road running. So already behind the scene, you guys should have a lot of things laid out and planned, which is absolutely amazing if you have it. But if what you're offering in your campaign speeches is what you're planning, Mr. Golden, you really don't have a budget policy in place or a budget plan in place. Because that's not going to cut it. And we want to see the country need to have two-party, vibrant and viable parties. People must have viable choices. And the very first thing the PNP failed to do is to sell themselves out of opposition. To sell themselves to the country as the better party. The PNP has failed miserably at that, Mr. Golden. And whether you're in opposition or you're in government, we need a vibrant PNP and we need a vibrant JLP. We need a viable PNP and we need a viable JLP. That's what the country needs. That's what the country needs. The country don't need... You see, ladies and gentlemen, just note, the hunger for power and the hunger to keep power is more powerful than power itself. Let me repeat that. The hunger for power from these two political parties I'm referring to, the hunger for power and the hunger to keep power is more powerful than power itself, as it is politically. And these parties are doing anything and everything just to remain or to get power or to be in power. It is up to us, the people, to make sure that when you invest your vote, there's an ROI down the road for you. And you don't need to wait 2-3 years till the next election cycle come around to see some ROI on your money or on your vote. The country needs now to start to see return on their investment. Your vote is an investment and it must bring some added value to you when you cast that vote for JLP or PMP, irrespective of which party becomes the government. They can't stop you from liking PMP, I can't stop you from liking PMP, no one can stop you from liking JLP, and I can't stop you. But what we should all rally around is that whenever party becomes the government, Jamaica should be singing their praises, or Jamaica should be crying to get rid of them, kick them out, and throw them away. All Jamaica should be kicking them out. Because the governance should be about Jamaica. Governance shouldn't be about a set of people or anything special, or any special interest group. It should be about the country, lifting the country from the bottoms up now. Full time for we stop suffer the effects of the trickle-down economy. It is high time now. Government start to plan to move people up the scheme. Listen what the Prime Minister said Sunday night on stage in Montego Bay. He is making an effort. He made an effort to explain to people at the time his government will start to lift people up from the bootstrap, from the ground up. He's making an effort. But like I said, Mr. Prime Minister, that is all promise until election is over. Because, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of things that is said on the campaign trail sounds good. But in practicality, they don't turn out to be reality. They don't. Because the promise, as the song says, the promises at nights are easily made and disappear at the very first light of day. We cannot continue to live by promises, or we cannot continue to hold on to promises. Politics is an ever-evolving institution. Political institution is ever-evolving. You can put a plan in place today to take effect 6 months' time, or to take effect 3 months or 4 months' time, whatever time. And in another 4 to 6 weeks, you have to revisit that plan, reconstruct it. All of that will be taking place behind the scene. We don't know. And we're going to ask you one thing. I'm going to ask Jamaican one thing. Pressure your representative. Pressure your representative to be transparent. None of these politicians on the platform speak. None of them is standing on the stage of transparency. None of them is expressing themselves in a transparent way to anyone about anything. And no government can pride themselves on not being corrupt if they are not transparent. None. So I'll say this to Mr. Andrew Wilson, and I say this to Mark Golan. You two people as leaders of both political parties need to cut out your bullshit and careful and explain to people. Whatever you have to say to people, be transparent. Whatever you have to do, be transparent. Because there's no way you will not, the party and your performance or your government will not be in a cloud of corruption if you're not transparent. Transparency, brother, remove all doubt. That's a video I reserve That's a video I reserve for September the 4th. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I've gone over my time. I run about 5-6 minutes over with this video, extended time, but it is sometimes you get so caught up in what you really want to get to say. And I just want to welcome everyone again. Blessed Monday to you all. August the 25th to Jamaicans wherever you are. Blessed love to all my Jamaican folks. Again, we're getting serious and more in depth with this thing, with this platform. So I'm asking you guys just subscribe, share, like, leave a comment, and don't be afraid. Jump in it, say what you have to say. We learn from everything. None of us knows it all. We're here to make a better understanding for each other. A lot of stuff I keep repeating, and I keep repeating it because I realize that in politics people tend to forget things. As they say, politics is a 90-year wonder. One thing happens, you forget it. But I know I'm using this method to keep repeating, because it has to get home to people. But our vote is an investment, not a free offer to political parties. It should be an investment. Welcome once again. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Make we grow and get some power underneath these politicians. You understand? Show some fire under them skin and wake them up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Over and out. See you next time.